It's harder when you think about it, actually, too. That's the worst. When you stop to think about it, you just, like, every other word that you want to have come out of your mouth is demonetization. It's just like, that's why I'm going to let him start us off. Be demonetized if I puke within the first few minutes. Would that count? I'm just like,
I mean,
I don't think vomiting's gonna do it. Now, if you start showing it, that may be a different story. But
I was going to say, we may lose viewers or we may gain viewers. I'm not sure. YouTube's weird, man.
What if I paint you and then we get into a brawl?
You paint me, I'm going to beat the crap out of you.
If I paint you, you're going to try.
Oh, no. I will Hulk out, buddy.
I will be in a weakened state. I ain't gonna lie. That's a bad, like, getting jumped right after you've gotten sick. You're not in your A game. I'll give you that. You might have the edge on me there.
I have the edge on you anytime, but, I'll really have the edge on you then. Let's get started. Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q.
And on Skype,
we have Bloodaxe.
All right. Let's get started. What do we got today, man? Let's see here. I will say, I've been playing Cyberpunk. I finally got to the new stuff. The size was not what I thought it was going to be. It is. I mean,
she said
you're talking about a city that's inside the city. That's about the size, half the size of one of the zones. One of the mini zones of Night City. It's about
that's
half
not too
the
big,
size
then.
of
No.
Now, I will say, because they added, it's a very busy zone.
Dense?
So, yeah.
Dense would be a good word?
Dense, yeah. Dense is good. So where it's half the size of a normal zone in Cyberpunk, it probably has the content of a couple of zones.
A couple of zones? That's a big praise. It has as much content as a couple of zones, man. There's a lot of content in those zones, man.
Yeah, well, there's a lot going on, and some of the stuff interacts with the outside zones. Because, I mean, the new zone is not separated from the main game at all. It is integrated.
Oh, okay. So does that mean you can use your relic tree when you leave the DLC?
Oh, definitely.
They fixed that. Well, how were you saying you wouldn't before then?
I don't know.
Because I remember we kept checking it. I kept going. One of the reasons I didn't want to get the DLC.
No. We kept reading, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, was because every time we read, it seemed like this was sort of
isolated.
But it actually falls in between the main storyline. Like, once you get to a certain point in the storyline, it unlocks the storyline for this area. Which, while it's separate, it is together. It's its own unique little story, but it's inside.
You're able to leave that zone and go back to the main area, and can you use your relic tree?
All it takes is driving. I mean,
and you can use your relic tree.
Yeah. So anyway, the thing is you can, yes, you can use your relic tree. I mean, like I said, it is completely integrated into the game. It is not separate content at all.
Well, now that might actually make me interested in giving it a purchase. Because the biggest thing is that isolated side stories are only if I'm really, really into a game, because they don't matter. But now, I'm doing a hacker run, and from what I understand, this relic stuff, I think, is kind of hacky. Like, it's kind of more about the hack, like, you know what I'm saying? I believe. I don't know.
So the relic tree is just 3 different directions you can go. You use relic points, and it basically enhances different things. There's 3 different directions you can go, and you'll get more relic points. I know you can get 6 or 7 right off the bat just going through. And that allows you to fully do one of the trees and start on another, because each main tree takes 3 relic points to start, and then 1 for the next level, and that's all there is. It's a 3 main and a 1, and it does stuff like enhance. It gives you abilities basically that you can utilize to enhance combat.
Like kind of a hacky one?
There's a hacky.
I thought of one. I've seen a screenshot,
but I'm just saying that's just one of them. It's not all just hacky stuff.
All right. Man.
There's one for Mantis Blades, one for Gorilla Arms, one for the Garrett Wire. So it just depends on what your style is. But you start off with 3 whenever you first start the content, and then every time you find a station, there is another relic point. And then once you get it through a certain part of the campaign, then one of the NPCs unlocks 3 more relic points. So you can actually max out all relic trees.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. No, like, did you say Gorilla Arms has its own relic tree? Ooh.
It has its own relic spot. So there's one that with cyber, and then you can choose Mantis, Gorilla, Garrett Wire. I can't remember what the 4th one is. But there's the cyber tree has pretty much all the cyber options you would want to do, and one is Gorilla Arms.
Yeah, so here you see how it sort of goes. Let's see here. Where's a good explanation? So yeah, you have the jailbreak tree, which is your different cyberware. Then you have
cloaking. Neat.
The cloaking, and then you have vulnerability analytics, machine learning, which is, I think this is the one that I took during combat. You can detect vulnerabilities in enemy armor. Hitting these gives you 100% critical chance.
Oh, those relic trees are no joke.
Yeah,
huh?
so basically there's 3. So there's 2 off to the side, which are these 2, which only have 1 additional level. And then there's the jailbreak one, which splinters off into the different monowire, Gorilla Arms.
Oh, not as Mana Blade, but projectile one.
Yeah.
Built-in gun and arm. Your Mega Man build.
I will say, I think CD Projekt Red did a bad job of actually promoting this. And explaining how because like I said, we both thought it was a completely
we were looking
separate
though. We weren't just throwing it
Yeah.
out there. We were going on what they were saying. It was being presented like, oh, this would be the relic tree would be not usable in the main game.
Yeah.
And I kept being annoyed by that. And I kept looking for more to go like, well, nah, man, I'm pretty sure. And then it comes out, and that's not the case, and you're just like, well, they should have cleared that up.
Yeah, and that was my thing. Like once I got to that point, I was like, well, this is not what I was expecting at all, or how they implied it. Now it's fun. I've enjoyed it.
Didn't also even say that you couldn't even drive the new cars in it. Like it was a lot of stuff claiming that it wasn't integrated.
No, there's one whole little side thing that has you stealing cars from Dogtown and taking them back to Night City. Yeah. So there's a whole thing of you jacking stuff.
And the more missions you do from those, you get additional cars into your inventory. Can you go ahead and block that up for us, Bloodaxe? Do you have access to that? It is definitely not, it wasn't advertised well. Now, as far as they spent, by this, it says they spent $125 million turning Cyberpunk 2077 around post-launch. I'm going to say they should have spent that money better. The game is still buggy. Like I'm surprised that people have come back and said, "Oh, it's still buggy, man." I mean, I can still jump on things, and they didn't actually build out the roof, so I'm half in the roof, half in the out of the roof. I've gotten into zones where the textures are all over the place because it was a place they didn't intend for you to enter, but they made it easy for you to do so.
You're very good at doing that.
And those things, I'm like, okay, you could have, you could have spent more time on this. Still a fun game, still enjoy it, still not a clean game.
And I mean, when I played it, I think I talked to you, and I even think I may have talked to Clinton about it, Bloodaxe a bit, where I was like, essentially, when I tried it out, it was fun, but I mean, it wasn't like just like not like that novelist. It was just like this was a whole new game. It was better, but now I have to admit, while I haven't gotten far enough in to see a lot of the real deep depths of changes, I didn't see $125 million worth of better.
Yeah.
That does seem like a huge expenditure. I hope that it pays off. I mean, Phantom literally is doing really well, so hopefully they can get their money back on that, because that seems like a really big. I memean, it's great. It's a great thing for the game, for people to enjoy the game. It does feel like that is a really big price tag. Though they're probably counting from like the second, like they said, from launch.
Yeah.
So it's a build up. They probably have already made some of that money back when it's sold. But that's a pretty big price tag. But then again, Cyberpunk did really well. So I don't know. But that's definitely a big bite. I hope it doesn't have any long-term effects. Because I like the studio, man. The Witcher 3 is a great game. Cyberpunk is definitely a step on the right direction. The biggest thing, though, that me and I think Bloodaxe are talking about is what Cyberpunk really makes me go is that, all right, they did it. They made a really good Cyberpunk game. Where's Shadowrun? We were up there talking about that the other night. We're like, but where's Shadowrun? Shadowrun next? Because between the two, me and Bloodaxe love us some Shadowrun. And that's our favorite. And this really made me realize that they could make a good Shadowrun game. You know, they could, because look at this. This is an incredible game for the Cyberpunk genre. This is a really good game. This is a groundbreaker for the genre. We haven't had a really good Cyberpunk genre game that was at this level. You know, this is what I want to see. I want to see more games like this, even more in-depth, even more detailed.
Right. Because they did a good job with the corpse. They even found a sneaky way to add in the whole the old rocker class from the original Cyberpunk game in the 80s. So I've had fun playing it, and I would play a second one. But you're right. If we can get a good Shadowrun game where you got the magic right and the face and the Decker stuff correct, that would be a lot of fun. A good Shadowrun game. But we haven't had a good Shadowrun game, so I'll enjoy what we have in the meantime.
Yeah, that's all we got. So, but no, that's cool though. Like to hear that, like you've given me a better likelihood to look into Phantom Liberty. Now that I know that, well, it matters effectively. Like it'll actually change the game. Because I wasn't into a side trip. I was like, I'll just play the main game. But
well, I mean, the story is basically, as I said last week, they're stealing Escape from New York story and putting it in Cyberpunk, which I'm kind of like, but there is one scene I'm not going to spoil, but you actually get they pulled the whole trope of meeting the villain, having a conversation, and the main villain letting you go without having a fight, which is something I've been incorporating a lot in my campaign. They've already had, I think, 3 encounters with the Domain Lord in Ravenloft, and it's been an interesting story. So I like the way they pulled that off. The guy wasn't a total tool bag, and he really makes you think, about the story because your choices in Cyberpunk matter. And he's throwing in some more what ifs or making you contemplate, are you being lied to? So the story was well written. If the bugs were fixed, then it would be probably one of my top 10 games. But it is kind of buggy, and it's something I've lived with. But I definitely enjoy playing Cyberpunk to the point where even though Dark Tide is now out, I don't even think Q's even started it up yet. But my oldest son's playing Dark Tide, so eventually I'm going to have to start playing that as well. But I'm enjoying Cyberpunk to where I'm not even thinking about a game we were looking forward to a year ago.
Q started it up yesterday, but we drug him out of the house and wouldn't let him play.
I actually gave it a start, and it's actually pretty fun, man. Actually, now you're gonna have to start it up because it's like most games. You got to get through the tutorial, right. So you're not gonna be able to have nobody that can help you do the tutorial. You got to get through that, but it's not hard. But I actually enjoyed myself. Like I'm gonna play more. I'll probably play some more today. So It was actually pretty fun. I was surprised. Now apparently there was a massive update and basically they cyberpunked it, where they did a huge update, changes, and polished it up before it came out on Xbox. And I did not know that until I started watching videos. They were like, oh no, dude, it's a whole new game. They're like, it got massively improved. So that's good. We didn't get the crappy version. So it looks like we basically ended up with a the best way to put it in our terms, Bloodaxe, is we got a Borderlands 3 where like we got the game after they fixed it, which is awesome.
Okay.
So I mean, apparently we got the fixed version of the game, and that's cool to me. Like big changes, man.
Yeah, but I hear they replaced the feats with talent trees and.
Oh yeah, like it got a major overhaul, man. Like major overhaul. Like
God.
Not a little bit.
Yeah.
This was a complete change to the game from what people were saying. They had to redo all the class videos that were out there because all the classes were changed. But that's cool. I mean, yeah, dude, every weapon looks like...
Dude, I ain't even halfway through the update yet. I mean...
So we got basically the polished version of the game. So I'll just, and if that's a rare case where while it was annoying waiting on it this long, I remember hearing it was pretty bad. Like there were a lot of problems before. So if they fixed it all, and so far people seem to think they have, the people who have been playing it are enjoying the update too, because I've been watching the vids on it. And they're liking it. They're like, oh, yeah, man, they have videos that they said, come back and try it again, man. It's way different. They were telling people that had the PC version, you got to come back and give it another try. It's not the same game. So that lets me feel like, okay, we got the good version.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it was a ninja release because, dude, we caught, and we checked not too long ago. Like, me and Bloodaxe checked not too long ago on Dark Tide. Whenever we would bring it up on the show, we'd go check. And to my surprise... Yeah, of course I'm playing a psyker. But, to my surprise, like, it was fun and looked good, played good. I was having a good time. I mean, other people suck. I'm amazing. So it was hard teaming up with these greenhorns. Don't know how to play a game. But beyond that, I was having a good time.
Oh, yeah.
So do you have to play with other folks? Or can you play?
Four-man squads. Four-man squads.
And you're forced into it.
4-man squads.
Okay.
But it was honestly fun enough that I kept playing it even though I get it though too. Me and you are OG gamers. So like it puts you in with people around your level if you're not playing with friends. So I was playing with people that just picked the game up.
Yeah.
Now, some people that just picked the game up don't know how to play games.
But I mean, here Q starts this game and it was ridiculous hearing him. Like he had the Benny Hill theme humming the whole time he was telling us about it, and I was just like,
well, you can see him through walls, and what's funny is it's one of those games where your character they have dialogue. So I go up to the button where we need to go, and my character in game is saying, "Hey guys, I found a switch. Guys, come over here. Here, over here, man. Come to me." And I'm just standing and I'm watching them, and they're just and I'm just like, what are they doing, man? Even the game is telling them, go to the psyker. So I was just like, oh. But then when I got to like level 4, it started getting better. So you got to remember it's Game Pass, okay? I got to do this one defense. It's Game Pass. So anybody can try it. And thus, you're going to get some people that are sticking their toe in that have no idea about anything. They're just like, they're 12, they're 10.
Flynn asked in the chat room, no AI squad members.
Not yet. It's been, but again, it's really popular right now, so.
All right. Well, let's see. What else we got? Hey, guess what? Guess who had an update as well? Redfall.
Wow, we're just winning every way.
Like, this is apparently the week of the updates to games that had bad releases. Bethesda's Redfall is fell into a oh wait, this is the wrong article. Redfall game update 2 release notes.
That's gonna be an interesting segue later.
Yeah. So they threw out the updates to get this to try to get the game going. Now, I will say, reading the updates, not nearly as impressive as Dark Tide.
I only saw one or two things that might even be noticeable to the normal person. Like, they claim there's some more dynamic encounters and that enemy density got improved. Those are the only two things they had in there that I think the average person would really notice. Now, there's a lot of quality of life here, but they're also very minor quality of life. But here's the thing, and this is coming from a person, me and Xeno have said this repeatedly. We want them to fix Redfall. We like the game. Like, I enjoyed playing with him. I enjoyed playing with Bloodaxe and him. I'd like to see them fix this game. And I like Devender. He's a really cool character. But the quality of life choices that they made weren't aimed at the problems that really I felt needed to get fixed, if that makes sense. Like, when we were just reading it, I literally was going, I'm trying to find a change that matters. And I saw a lot of ones. I'm like, oh, that's nice. That's nice. Nothing, though, that would make me fire the game up. Nothing would make me fire it up, though. And on top of that, they really need to put out that dang content they sold people for all the people that bought the Bites Back or Bite Harder or whatever version, because they still owe them 2 characters, man. They need to get those characters out.
Yeah, and I mean, my thing is, it took them 4 months to do this, and it's not
and
really...
that's like a week 1 or 2 level of a patch, man. I'm sorry to pick on them like this, but what I saw was quality of life. Other games crank out within a couple of weeks.
Well, and I mean, the numbers are showing it. I mean, here we have Bethesda's Redfall has failing to attract enough Steam players to make a team of 4.
And they say, yes, that means there are times that only 3 people are playing.
Yeah. If you look at the Steam charts, you can actually see that the game is at peak 54 players.
Which is a boost after the update. It was like 30 not too long ago before the update. What's the lowest then? Oh, yeah, it does drop down to, wow, there's 7, 4, 4.
Yeah.
And, oh, there it was 3.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. On Steam for a game that you paid for and is a multiplayer, because I've seen terrible multiplayers maintain a degree of interest.
Well, the problem with that is okay, at the peak I have 54. How many people are playing, though, that game open to create a squad, Because, I mean, a lot of people are playing a single player. A lot of people are only playing with their friends. I mean, when we played, we just joined each other's game.
Yeah, it's either 2 or it was 3. Yeah. He didn't let random people in.
So for those people who want to find a squad on Steam, there's probably not that many people ever. And like I said, I mean, we do see a pickup here after the update, but it is minuscule.
I mean, it's from like 30 to 24, 30 to 54, which is a 24
see a 34 peak before the update and a 54 peak.
So 20.
So 20 increase in
And that's
peak.
not even 1% probably of the gamer base, man. That's how low that is. That's not even people that own the game, not of, people that are even willing to play it. But that's a real small boost. It means that people aren't coming back. I mean, people are not coming back to the game to give it a second.
Well, and
go.
I think it's honestly, I think it's too soon to come back. I mean, I'm not going to go back right now.
I want to wait for the new characters.
That
to come
update
out.
release is not enough for me to go back.
Yeah, I don't even have the special edition. I just want to see what they're going to do with the new characters. And honestly, I keep hoping when they do the new characters, they're going to do like some games where they throw out a big update with it. That's more meaty.
Yeah.
So I keep hoping that when they decide to put out these characters, they're going to throw out like Cyberpunk, with Phantom Liberty.
Our Dark Tide update.
Yeah, like a big booyaka. Everything's flipped on its head. We changed all the tape. Like if they made an update and said we changed all the ability trees, we'd go see what they changed. I'd be like, oh, well, now I want to see how Devender plays now. And you'd want to go check with Jacob? Then you want to go check
Yeah. Maybe I can get that last level in.
No, man. You need like 579,000. That was weird. That was a weird choice. I still believe that was a glitch. I still was like, there's got to be an error. Why did the amount of experience go up by like over 100 times almost? The last level doesn't even do. Okay, let's go. So more is needed, but we're keeping an eye out now because I want Redfall to do this. I want Redfall to Dark Tide or Cyberpunk. I do. I like the characters. Either that or I'd like him to do a crossover with Dying Light 2, and I get to play Devender in Dying Light 2. I like Devender, and we hate Eden. Eden, that's his name? Cutscene Eden is his name? Aiden. Cutscene Aiden, the loser. Replace him with some likable character. Dude, Jacob would be really good in Dying Light 2. Seeing through walls with that sniper rifle. Dude, get on a rooftop, popping zombie heads. So, either do a crossover or fix the game. But like we just mentioned, the biggest roadblock is that Dark Tide came out, man. Ain't nobody going back to Redfall. They're probably going to try out the new game. Like when you have a new multiplayer come out that has a known base, it's popular. I believe that they're really not going to pull people in because there's other things to play on game.
Well, and that's why I also say those 54 people that are consecutively playing are probably not your group, your squad-based players, Because, your squad-based players probably picked up something like Dark Tide or, one of the other multitude of squad-based games.
Well, I mean, it's cross-play, so, I mean, we could all play it together, Dark Tide. So, I mean, it's literally like a game you can play with your friends. I'm going to try to get you to download it and give it a go.
Game Workshop game. Anyway, so...
they got a veteran. He's really cool.
Talking about games giving you chills. Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, that's a bad word. Did you get demonetized? You just said a bad word.
Oh, man. So Wizards of the Coast considers removing Shaman and Druid from MTG
Magic the Gathering
over real religion comparisons. Now, apparently they've done this with Witch, and now talking about Shaman and Druid. I don't understand this at all. Look, I will say, Magic the Gathering, I played it when I was in high school. I had massive binders full of cards, all that stuff. I used to just sit and make decks, and I was all in. And then I learned the joys of alcohol and drugs and decided to sell my cards so I could feed that addiction.
Alrighty. I never got into the competitive card games.
Yeah.
Not gonna. No, it ain't gonna happen now.
Wiccans, I think, still, have druids in their.
Even if they did, dude,
but
all mythology is based on some religion.
Yeah,
You're not going to be able to avoid
also
this.
But I will say, look, now they're not talking about removing the term from what I gather. They're talking about removing it as a creature type. And I will say it was stupid to make witch, druid, and shaman a creature type to begin with because they're not really creatures.
Well, I mean, was it really being used for creatures, though? Or was it just the creature type is just the classification of the
no,
card?
and that's the thing. The terminology in MTG is sort of off because I think wizard was also a
That's
a,
what
a
I
creature
thought. That's what I'm
type,
sort of going like. I thought it wasn't really so much a creature type as was the card category of this guy's considered a wizard. This guy's considered a witch. I don't know. The Wizard of the Coast does weird, stupid stuff.
But it was
anybody...
it's all, and it's one of those things where if you do this, you're going to have to change the mechanics of the game because a lot of your things had, well, if they're this type of creature type, they get these bonuses, or this card affects them this way.
Well, that's the point. They get to invalidate all of your cards and make you buy a whole new set. Isn't that a beautiful idea? They get to literally invalidate whole decks.
It's just another thing that Wizards of the Coast is doing that doesn't really make a whole bunch of sense. And
well, here's a question. Who is it that they're worried about offending? I don't believe that a lot of druids and shamans and witches that were playing Magic the Gathering gave a flip. Because if they played Magic the Gathering, they probably played with decks of witches, shamans, and druids to match them because they were like, I built a druid deck, sucker, because I'm a druid.
That's not how you win.
I didn't say they were good at it. But you get my point is that I don't think people that play Magic Gathering care. I really don't. In fact, we're not a very religious society anymore, unfortunately in some ways, and fortunately in some other ways. And I don't think we're nearly religious enough that you got to do that. Because like somebody said, then you're going to take out all the angels, take out all the demons, take out the clerics and the priests. If you start removing everything based on religion, you don't have fantasy anymore. Because fantasy is mostly mythology, and mythology is mostly religions. Even the Greek mythology was actually the freaking religion of Greek and Rome. That was their gods. You know, you like Thor? He's technically a part of a religion. He's a Norse religion. So it's like, if you're going to start doing that, then you're just not going to have anything left. Because we know they can't make new things as Wizards of the Coast. They have no originality. So they're just going to end up with a Magic the Gathering that has nothing. There's people that claim the Harry Potter books are like a religious problem. So, I mean, there'll be nothing left for fantasy. You get Call of Duty the Gathering. It's just a bunch of people with guns. Am I wrong? I mean, no. I mean, tell me what's left.
Well, no, dude. It's a weird argument. And like you said, though, I mean, we have images of, you know, the Greek gods in multiple games and stuff like that. And a lot of times we don't go in a line with the actual mythology, which honestly could be considered offensive if you really want to. I mean, look at some of the games that have like God of War, that have your Greek. A lot of those characteristics of those characters, if you were religious in that manner, you would probably consider blasphemous, you know. But we also understand in movies and games, there's a suspension of disbelief. There's, you know, creative storytelling, and people just let that slide usually. Now, occasionally, you know, with some religions, you do see where movies get banned from certain countries because of the way their religion is portrayed and stuff like that. But, you know, I usually in no sense say, yeah, you get over it. Just be entertained. I don't know. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
My whole thing is that
I don't
who's
know,
taking Magic the Gathering that serious that they're getting...
Dude, have you ever been...
No, that they're getting offended by the creature tags. Most people I know that are in the Magic the Gathering are busy building decks.
Well, yeah, I will say most of them aren't concerned about the creature tags in any way that they relate to the real world.
No, it's all
they
about
are concerned about the creature tags and how they can min-max the hell out of their deck.
So it's like, I don't think anyone cared. I think that what they're going to do is they're going to screw over real Magic the Gathering fans' decks, cost them a bunch of money to get nods from people who probably don't play Magic the Gathering. I'm not saying witches and druids and shamans don't play Magic the Gathering. I'm saying witches and druids and shamans who are weird enough to get offended by the card game's creature tags don't play Magic the Gathering. Those guys are doing something else because they're busy probably protesting something, or I don't even know. But like, if you can't even enjoy a card game without getting offended, I doubt you're playing Magic the Gathering. I think you got bigger issues on your plate. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying, I think you got bigger issues on your plate than going like, what? There's a creature type called Druid. I don't think anybody, honestly, I don't believe most of those people that are that easily offended are literate, let alone know how to play Magic the Gathering.
Damn.
I said it.
Yeah, you said it. You said it.
Dude, if you're not easily offended, you can't read anything without being offended, so you don't learn to read.
Well, speaking of easily offended, let's talk about Robin Hood.
We be robbing. In the hood, man, we robbing in the hood. And no, this ain't me being corny. This is how they do it. You saw it. This is them. They're up there like...
thinking about bringing this topic up.
Robin, yo. I'm just like...
So Robin Hood gets 1.2 IMDb rating. Director X, blast racist fans.
Yeah, that's his director title, y'all, man. It's Director X.
Oh.
This is the corniest brother I ever met, man. Every time, this is bad. This feels like a youth pastor tried to make a freaking, or like an after school special. It's so corny.
Well, like, dude, look, I have fallen, deeply. I think all three of us, fall into the nerd category, and do a lot of, have had a lot of history with sci-fi and fantasy and nerd culture. And the thing is and honestly, that was the more offending comments he made to me, was the fact that he was like, well, this is how us nerds do it. And I was just like, no, it's not.
I mean, I don't offended calling himself a nerd, man.
For one, I mean, you can't lump all, it's a vast diversity inside that
but that
community.
just shows his ignorance. Like, yeah, it's a massive culture, man. You go to a con, you're going to see a lot of different people. I mean, a lot of different.
Look, we see the clash between some of the groups to know that it is a vastly diverse group.
It gets heated, man.
Yeah,
it gets heated. But like, here's the thing. What my problem is, it ain't even how bad the show is. Because you know what, man? If you could trick Netflix and give you a bunch of money to make a bad show, you know what? Do it. Netflix is stupid. I mean, let's be honest, man. We've seen them make worse. At least there ain't, you know what? There's some odd moments in
Netflix? I think it said like Global TV or something.
Oh, is it not Netflix? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, then Netflix has the money to make bad shows. I feel bad for whoever they got there. That's a little more upsetting if they managed to screw someone else out of their money. Yeah. They ain't got the money like that. Netflix has money to burn.
Global TV, and it's streaming on Stack TV.
Well, those are going out of business. But it's the really unprofessional attitude. This dude's out here making reaction videos to people that don't like it, to critics and stuff. He's, talking about, well, I'm not really calling them racist, and then he's calling them racist. And I mean, you're a director. You never saw George Lucas or even Kathleen Kennedy. We don't like Kathleen Kennedy. She didn't make reaction videos, though, to everybody. She doesn't have a reaction video to friggin', Clownfish TV or Heel versus Babyface. But, like, this dude's making reaction videos and is all over social media crying like a little girl. Dang it, can't say it like that. Crying like a wimp. You know what I'm saying? Crying like a little wimp. That's a gender neutral term. Over this stuff. And I'm like, dude, like, you should not be this easy for your feelings to be hurt. Like, you're making yourself seem really unprofessional and really soft because why you care what they think? You didn't make it for them. This show clearly was not made for the people that are critiquing it. Even I'll say that. I'm like, they're not your audience. Trust me. I know what your show's about. They're not your audience. I don't know who the heck they are. In fact, I'm not your audience. I'm too old. You're aiming at a young demographic of activists. And that's fine. That's your audience. You go for it. But don't get mad when the non-activists don't like your show.
The show's not Robin Hood as we know Robin Hood. I mean, it listed as an anti-authoritarian masked hip-hop band, The Hood. So I don't think anybody really gives a shit that the person is black. That's not a race swap. This is a completely different.
It's dumb the way they even try to get the names in there. It's not Robin Hood at all. They're not even close. They're not even trying. Which is fine because that means it's kind of a unique story.
Yeah, but it's a horrible story.
But I will always defend a person's right to make their bad story as long as it's not questionable. And it's not questionable. Yeah. There's moments that I don't like that I feel a little bit of like maybe don't have a condom jar for your teenage daughters. You know what I'm saying? That's a weird plot point he put in there, but that's not as weird as like Cuties or something. You know what I'm saying? It's just a weird point. So it's perfectly fine for the show to exist. And I hope it has its own audience, because, it's a shame if he wasted all these people's time and money. But, like, if you want to ever be a real director, you're going to have to learn to shut up and be a professional, or else you're not going to make it anywhere. Because, like, all of that whining doesn't look good. And, I mean, I didn't mind the show until he started all that. Like, I really was like, okay, this show is not my cut. I'm not liking it, but there's probably somebody like it. Then I see all these videos and tweets, and I'm just like, all right, show's trash and director's trash. And that's totally not off the show. That's off his behavior. And that's how you mess yourself up. That's how you mess your own thing up. How many people going to be able to work with this guy after the way he acted? no real studio is going to work with somebody that's unprofessional like that because he's a problem. He's likely to get up there and make videos about the studio or talk about all his coworkers because, you know, he has no tact. He has no business ethics. So that bothered me more because I'm like, man, you shoot yourself in the foot. One bad show won't ruin your career sometimes, but a bad attitude will. And that's why I'm like, Director X is gonna ruin himself. He's gonna be a laughing. He's gonna be considered a joke. Only people that are hiring will be people that put out trash. We'll probably never see him working with Lionsgate or, you know, Universal because he doesn't have the director demeanor. So to that on my side, that's all I had to say is I think that like his behavior is the biggest condemnation more than the bad show. Because you can get past a bad show. Everybody we know put out a bad movie, man. Some of my favorite directors have put out bad movies. The other day I was watching something, man, and I mean, somebody was listing out all the terrible Tim Burton movies. George Lucas got some stinkers. Spielberg got some stinkers, man. Likely he usually does pretty good stuff. He's got a couple that were okay, but I've never seen him do anything too bad. And Jordan Peele, like he's had some medium ones, but most of his are really good. But there's a chance in the future they may put out something that's just awful. It happens, you know, and that doesn't ruin you. But a bad attitude makes people not want to work with you regardless of your skills. A bad attitude can ruin a good director who makes good content's career. You know, it can put them out of business. You know it can put somebody out of business that puts out bad stuff. That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at Kevin Feige. You know, when he was doing good content, people were dealing with it, but now some of the old stuff's creeping up again because he's putting out stinkers.
I mean, my amusement and highlights of the whole thing was the how are people watching this when this isn't released in their area yet, right after telling people they should use a VPN to watch it. And then
I'm not even gonna bring that up, man. It's so stupid.
Yeah. No, dude. I mean, that's amusing to me.
He told people how to watch his show in areas that the show wasn't released. He told them to go use a VPN. He literally said, "Go VPN to watch my show." Then when he gets his reviews in, he goes, "Well, these reviews are obviously fake. They're coming from areas the show is released." And we're like, "You told them how to go watch the show, man. Are you stupid? Did you forget? Like what kind of idiot tells people how to go watch a show? Got people telling him, yo, man, I want to watch a show, but we're not in the right area. Here, man, here's what you do." So he knows that he's got people that were coming to watch his show from out of it. He told him how to do it. Like I said, man, he's shooting himself in the foot more than the show is. The show's not that great to me. I don't think it's that great. I think the music's terrible, and there's some questionable parts about what's really going on in that. I kind of, in some scenes, said, nah, I don't want to spoil it, but there's one event that I said, no, you break into my house.
I will say I watched the trailer, and the music was horrendous.
It is bad.
Oh.
At least the first two I've seen. The first two music videos they made are really bad. They are really hard to sit through. I don't think they're going to get any better because you assume the trailer would show the best music.
I mean, I haven't heard rap that bad since I was in high school and kids were having rap battles on the bus. You know?
Man, that's cold the way you insulted those kids on that bus. Like, that's really dirty, man. I don't think they were that bad.
Oh.
We be robbing.
I didn't say all of them were that bad. I was just saying I did hear that quality on the school bus. You know?
Yeah, so, but like I said, the saddest part is that he's killing the show more than anything. In fact, since he started opening his mouth, the score's dropped again. It's dropping every time he opens his dang mouth. So it's like, dude, you are driving the score down faster with it. And then choosing, there's a whole, if y'all want to know more, he's got a whole thing between him and Az, where he decided to actually go after one of the critics personally and try to get on their show and is talking about him. Really bad idea when a dude's got like 350,000 subscribers. Not a really good idea. Nobody knows who the heck Director X is, other than now, but not in a good way. You know, he's infamous like freaking Subway Jared. That ain't a great way to get famous. You know, you don't want to get infamous. You want to be well known, but infamy is not good despite what people tell you. You know, that's a bad rep. But people kind of knew who he was, but after, especially after South Park got on his butt, everybody knew who Jared was then. You know, now obviously I'm not making a comparison to their behavior. I'm just making a comparison to infamy of you don't want to be known in a bad way if you can help it. And that's why I think he thinks any press is good press. And it's like, no, it's not. Because, yeah, people know your name. No one's going to hire you, though. Because people know your name as being bad at this.
Yeah, not all press is good press. Ask Bill Cosby. All right, so let's talk about...
That's another type of infamous.
Let's talk about Leslie. Last up, another dropping score, and that's Castlevania Nocturnum.
It balanced out. I think it was a little higher, then it dropped a little lower, and then it came back to 45, or has it just been sitting at 45?
It's been sitting at 45 for a while. It was 50 something, and then it just dropped.
Well, this one's a little contentious because we actually have a friend who liked it.
Yeah,
he's in the chat. Like, he liked it, and he was telling us, we should give it a try. I did consider it, but I will say I changed my mind on that because I realized here's the problem though, is that when it comes to Netflix, and that's why I kept mentioning Netflix, I was thinking of Castlevania Nocturne, is that watching a show is supporting it.
Yeah,
and I'm you can't really just watch a Netflix show and then take it back if you didn't like it afterwards.
There could be a lot of good aspects to this show, but here's the thing. There are aspects of the show I know for a fact that I do not want to support to be habit within the industry. And so if I watch it, I'm supporting those things that I'm not.
Yeah, like if you've got an interesting story you want to tell about very political topics, I think you should make that show. Like I just said that. Make it. I don't think, though, you should change something else into it. Like, from what I understand, he thinks it was a really good story. What he described to me didn't sound like a bad show. It just didn't sound like Castlevania at all either. It sounded like something that would be almost its own show. And I can see why people that went there, like our boy Bloodaxe here in a minute, I know he about to go off because he's a big Castlevania fan. Big Castlevania. He went and bought all the little offshoot stuff they did trying to get his buzz. He plays Dead Cells. He's huge. Went and bought the content for Dead Cells for Castlevania when it came out. And he'd have been mad he went to see this, not because of the politics, but because it just wasn't Castlevania. And everything that even my boy described to me was not anything to do with Castlevania whatsoever. So I was like...
Well, I mean, there's obviously aspects of it.
There's vampires. That's about all they got right.
No, there's more. It's not that far off. But
there's vampires and there's a dude whose last name is Belmont.
There are other
what they got other than
relations.
What do they got other than that? Vampires and a dude named Belmont is as accurate as they got.
They got other names, right?
They changed the characters. That's not really right if you change
the
characters. So all I'm saying is that I see the audience score. I get it. In fact, it actually is the first time I looked at the score. It makes sense. The critics rated it as a piece because they rate things based on its message. That's all critics care about. Does it have the message? And apparently it does. Audience rate it usually on a combination of if it's a good show and is it what we wanted it to be. So to me, the 45% to 50% makes perfect sense. If it's a good show, but it's not Castlevania, then you're going to be split, right? You're going to be split almost down the middle. It's split almost down the middle. So to me, it's a rare case that I'm like 100% critic, 45% audience. Sounds exactly what you'd expect when you have a show that is filling that category of some people think it's pretty good and don't care about Castlevania. Some people think it was not Castlevania regardless if it was good or not. You're going to be split. And it's split. So I'm like, all right. Now, am I going to watch it? Like I said, I don't want to support that either, but that's just because I want Castlevania. I don't mind a retelling to some degree, but I think they retold it outside of my level of wanting to see it. Like, I loved Isaac, who was redone and changed a lot. I actually liked Isaac in earlier seasons, so I have a guilty pleasure. Yeah, he's not very canonical, but the telling was really good, and I felt like it was a pretty decent idea to go with. But it was at my limit. I didn't like season 2 as much as I liked season 1, even though I liked Isaac in season 2 more than I liked any other character. I know that sounds conflicting, but that can happen. You can really like a character, but still acknowledge that this is not really Castlevania at this point. And that's the way I felt. And that's the way I feel my friend feels. I feel like our boy Flynn was watching it, and he was like, this ain't really Castlevania, but it's a really good story, and I like the characters. So, you know, his Isaac was maybe in this Castlevania. My character I really liked, Isaac, was in season 2. Season 1 and season 2, but season 2 Isaac I really like. But I can't suggest it to a Castlevania fan who's there for Castlevania. Because the same problem happened. Isaac was almost the main character of season 2. Was that season 2 or season 3? I'm not getting my seasons mixed up, am I?
I don't.
The season after they resolved the Dracula issue. All right. Either way, it might have been season 3. I'll maybe get my season mixed up, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all watched it. Y'all know Isaac was amazing in the last season of Castlevania before Nocturne came out. But he was also almost the main character. Belmonts were pushed pretty far to the back of the story. You know what I mean? So
it sounds like you're describing the Doom movie, which is a good movie if it wasn't called Doom, from a sci-fi perspective. And I'm going to surprise you a little bit and not really go off on the deep end, because what you're describing is one of the main reasons why I don't watch anime, because of how hit and miss it is in regards to the canonical content. And yeah, I'm a huge Castlevania fan. I even bought the spiritual successor in Bloodstained. And I had a lot of fun playing it, and I've played all the Castlevania games, including Lords of Shadow 1 and 2. Lords of Shadow, the first one, I actually enjoyed. The second one, not so much. But yes, I've played all the Castlevania games, except for the ones on the PlayStation that were exclusive. And I tried watching the Castlevania anime, the first one, and just I could not get into it. It was just really, really slow. And what you're telling me about this one, it's not piquing my interest. And again, it's probably going to be another anime that I'm just not going to watch, and I'll just continue to play the games that come out, and hopefully we get a good Castlevania game. But I don't even know if anything's in development at the moment. So Capcom needs to get on the or Konami, whoever owns it now, needs to get on the ball.
Yeah, Flynn in the chat room actually says if you never knew about the IP, you might like it. If you know the story from the games, then you will be disappointed.
Fair enough.
And I will say, after reading some of these positive reviews from the critics, I'm actually wondering if they even realized it was a cartoon from some of these. I mean, this dude here says incredibly paced and choreographed battles. You don't choreograph a cartoon, for one. And it's like combined with some gorgeous character design brings the series' best scenes to life. Cartoon.
I think they just told him to give it a high rating, and he just wrote something. Well, no, okay. Like, just think about it. Look at that review. He never mentions the name of the show.
Yeah.
He literally mentions none of the characters, none of the story points. He doesn't even mention the story. He just says it's pretty.
Yeah.
He gave it a fresh rating on a it's pretty. Wait, how did I get fresh with a rating of C? C is not a good rating.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that they took some creativity on...
And look at it, 3 out of 5 got fresh.
Yeah.
Apparently, man, as long as it's even slightly above a 50%, it's fresh in there. But I mean, and like I said, because of the way I enjoyed Isaac, I can say that if you latch on to a character and really enjoy them, you can end up enjoying it. But it's a risk. And it's why I don't want to watch it, because I feel like it's unlikely it'll catch me, because I've watched a lot of scenes of the dialogue, and nearly every character gets on my flipping nerves. Man. That dialogue is bad.
And I will say it could be taken out of context, but I've seen many of the lines of dialogue from either the trailer or from other people watching it and having lines in there, and most of them seem cringy to me. I was like, wow, that just...
Now, the bad guys seem pretty interesting, so that might be, and I think Flynn was saying that he really liked the 2 main vampires. So it could be that the villains are what carries it, and I do like a good villain. Problem is just that like, I don't know if it can combat the heavy use of profanity, which feels very weird for that particular genre. It's just always odd to me when you take a non-modern set piece. You know, you're in the Dark Ages, you're in Victorian, you're in the Renaissance, and characters curse like they're friggin' teenagers in the 20s, you know, our 20s, the 2020s. And you're just like, in fact, honestly, I don't even know people that curse like that the way they do in some of these shows now. And I curse a good bit sometimes, and you curse a good bit sometimes, and still, they'll be dropping these out of context almost profanities, and there's a lot of profanity. And the profanity was a bit of a turnoff because it throws me out of the setting. Like, it suddenly drops, it pulls me back to modern times instantly. It's like, oh, we're in this Victorian world.
I think that's what was cringy about it.
Some
Some of the dialect and dialogue seemed very modern.
There you go. Very modern dialogue, modern terminology, ways of talking. It didn't feel like it matched the period. And once you get out of the period, then it starts to look silly. It looks like a bunch of people running around in stupid costumes trying to pretend like they're in Victorian London when they're not. Yeah. Because it takes you out. You already are dealing with characters not really matching up visually. We're not going to touch too hard on that, but you know, people in places where you didn't see those folks a lot. And then you start throwing in the language, and it just starts to look weird. It's like you watch a Western, you know, and you got like a bunch of dudes running around in what's supposed to be the old West, United States, and like there's a guy in a friggin' biker outfit. You know, you're just like, that guy from Breaking Bad? You know what I'm saying? You're just like, it's a weird throwout. But again, it's also a fantasy. So, hey, it's a fantasy, man. It's technically a fantasy. Even though it's not really set in like a whole different world, it is a fantasy. So it might be your cup of tea, but like Bloodaxe said, if you're a hardcore Castlevania, you like the stories, it's not going to probably appeal to you. Honestly, if you're not into certain story beats and plots, it's probably not going to appeal to you. If you have a preferred type of character and you don't see, you don't see that character in that lineup, then it's probably not going to appeal to you because you're probably not going to like the characterizations and the way they do some stuff. Like I said, 45% to me seems fair. I think it's half and half. It's not a terrible show, just not a good Castlevania. That's why I think it's 45%. I think it's right down the middle.
All right. Let's see. I will point out one thing that I saw today that I found interesting just before we wrap it up. You see that cool anime we've been waiting for? Based off to that awesome manga.
Yeah, that really good manga that's going to have a great anime, man. We're looking forward to it.
Apparently it's going to get a K-drama adaptation. Oh. I've never seen a good K-drama. I'm sorry. I'm just like... Now, I know there are people out there that are big fans of K-dramas, and they're probably going to, as soon as I said that, but, you know, not my thing. I was just like, wow, for this manga or manhwa that we found, that I remember when I read it, like I wasn't hearing anything about it from anybody. Now it's getting
it blew up.
It's getting a spinoff. It's getting anime. It's getting.
But you didn't do that nearly dramatic enough. No. When you said that, they didn't go. They were like, oh,
yeah.
Oh. Because K-dramas are up there, baby. They're soap operas. Yeah. They're up there.
But yeah, and now it's even getting a K-drama. So now the good thing about that is if it's getting that big of a following,
I'm waiting,
is that we might actually get a full anime out of this and not just the first season and then never see anything else again.
If the K-drama doesn't ruin it.
You know, so that's my hope, because that's probably, and honestly, Bloodaxe, if you have anything bad about anime, to me, this is probably the thing that I would warn people about with anime, is the fact that they love to start stories and never finish them.
I mean, there's several really good season ones out there, man, that never got swung back around to. Our boy Bloodaxe, I got to worry about that because he stays out of the anime pool. But, we've suffered on many an occasion. I really hope they come back and do some more of The Strongest Exorcist, man. They got to do more of that. But, it is heartbreaking when you get something really good. Oh, you know what? Half-Life 3. There you go. It's the Half-Life 3 conundrum. Man, You know, there's people still waiting. Flynn, my boy Flynn's been waiting on Half-Life 3. I remember he's been waiting on the next one. No, it's not a drama. You're right, dude. Solo Leveling is a raw, like, lit RPG, balls to the wall, action, dark, apocalypse world.
Early on, there is drama, and it has a lot to do with his relationship with his family and his sister and all that. And then it just blows all that away and just shoots forward.
Hey, I need to take care of my family. I'll go do it by getting in a badass battle.
I was just saying, early on, they played up on that. They played up a little bit on his relationship with some of the other ability users and stuff.
Kicking their butts and scaring the crap out of them.
There was the one girl that he was interested in and everything. You've got that. And then, once you get to the later parts.
Yeah, it's an action.
Well, the anime is changing all the fucking names anyway, so.
Shut up. They're not changing the action, hopefully. So it's going to be interesting to see how they make that into a K-drama, especially because I guess they're going to off-screen all the action because there's no way they have the budget. Like, this will be a difficult live action for even to do with a good budget. K-dramas do not tend to have special effects budgets, man.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Are they just going to show scenes from the anime? Just grab scenes from the anime when the action happens and then go back?
Yeah, do like the comic book page?
Yeah, just show the comic book page and then come back and he's just like, oh, what a tough fight. Senpai-chan, you saved us. Like that. I don't know. I have no idea what to expect from a K-drama.
I don't either. But
it'll be better than Robin Hood, though.
Probably.
Oh, anyway, that's going to wrap us up, guys.
Hey, you think they'll come after us, man? Think we can get our own drama? You think Director X will come after us?
Oh. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell on our YouTube channel. You can go to Dicejunkies.com, where you can find links everywhere we are online, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. Check it out there. And as every week,
we hope you enjoy.